Welcome in to another fun-filled edition of Two Ball Guys on the Right. Yeah, we're a day late, and at this point, with Joe Biden president, a dollar short, if not more.
I would say more.
I would say more. I just discovered today they keep flip-flopping on this stimulus bill, and if you're going to get the $1,400 per person, if you didn't make over now for a couple it's $100,000, tomorrow could be back up to $150. Just make up your mind one way or another. Well, don't quit teasing me.
Well, and what's it based on? Is it based on 2020? Is it based on 2019? Because who made the money in 2020 that they made in 2019? Not me. That's for damn sure.
Not me either. And the crazy thing is, I already spent part of that money.
Yeah.
I went and bought me a brand new camera for my studio, and so I spent it. Joe Biden, you better come through. That's all I got to say. You better come through for me.
I wouldn't hold my breath.
These foreign countries are going to get their money. You know, I started thinking about that. So if we get all this money to dish out to Central and South America and all these countries, so what if I made over $100,000? Give me my damn money. If we got money to give to all these foreign countries, give me my damn money.
No, because American citizens don't matter.
No, we really don't matter.
The only thing that matters is whoever's going to give the individual politicians a kickback.
I guess so. I've said it once. I've said it 1,000 times. Republicans eat Republicans. Today, the Trump impeachment trial, we had 6 Republicans decided they were going to go with the Democrats. Now, what was up for grab is it constitutional to proceed? Let me give you the names of these losers. Susan Collins of Maine, we knew that was coming. Bill Cassidy of Louisiana.
Really?
Lisa Murkowski, we knew that was coming from Alaska. Mitt Romney from Utah, we knew that son of a buck was going to do it.
He's such a snake.
Yeah, Ben Sasse of Nebraska. Nebraska is pretty red state. What's the matter? And Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania. All sided with the Democrats, and so looks like everything, the impeachment trial will begin after a standoff. The House Democrats, acting as the impeachment prosecutors, decided that they were going to, they started it off about that Trump pushed them towards this. But as I watched the video, and we're going to play that video, it actually made me believe more and more that this was a planned event by some people, and Trump had nothing to do with it because they started leaving before Trump was finished with his speech. Roll the tape.
We will stop the steal. Today I will lay out just some of the evidence proving that we won this election, and we won it by a landslide. This was not a close election. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
Yeah!
Let's take the Capitol.
Take the Capitol.
Let's take the Capitol.
We are going to the Capitol, where our problems are. It's that direction.
They even put it as the president continues his speech.
These people aren't anywhere near where he's speaking.
No.
This way.
Tens of thousands of votes. They came in duffel bags. Where the hell did they come from?
Different area altogether.
You idiots, thank you very much for making his case. He was still doing the speech when this was planned out.
Look where the speech grounds are. Look where the Capitol is.
Woo!
I mean, come on, people.
I mean, but Congressman David Cicilline, Democrat from Rhode Island, talked about this. Said we're not trying the president. As a result, the requirement of Chief Justice to preside because he isn't being triggered. So the president is not on trial? Is that what you're saying? So they're not trying the president? You're trying a private citizen? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, then how can you impeach a private citizen?
Well, that is so. The president.
Well, how can you remove somebody from office who's already been removed?
The House manager said that is now arguing that Chief Justice Roberts will not preside because this is not the president is not on trial.
Where is this money going that we're wasting? Because we are literally flushing money down the toilet.
Ridiculous.
As we speak.
Sad. Jamie Raskin, by the way, is a Democrat. I drew a blank on what state he is from, but what an idiot! I'm serious. What an idiot! He sent a letter to President Trump. Well, President Trump's attorneys, and we're going to post it up. But I'm going to read you the key part. He says, if you decline the invitation, now they want him to testify. They want Trump to testify. And Trump's not going to testify. His attorneys are like, nah, we need you to stay at home and keep your mouth shut. So he said, if you decline the invitation, we reserve any and all rights to include the right to establish at trial your refusal to testify supports a strong interference regarding your actions on January 6th. Say what? What part of the Constitution does that come from?
So you're guilty if you don't testify.
You're guilty if you don't testify.
Interesting.
Say what? You must be.
I'm wondering if they're trying. I mean, they must. Is there something they're trying to do to get him to trap him? I'm not sure what the deal is.
So Jamie Raskins, you got to be as dumb as a box of rocks. I mean, read the damn Constitution. Seriously, read. You are a senator. Read the Constitution. This is all about invoking the 14th Amendment. And what they would try to do is get him to never be able to run again. Look, he's not going to be found guilty. He is not going to be found guilty. They do not have the 67 votes. Now,
super majority.
They're coming closer with the 5 weak Republicans that have decided that they are going to. But here's the deal. Trump sent a letter and offered to deploy 10,000 National Guard troops to D.C. ahead of January 6th. Trump said, let me bring in the National Guard, and guess what?
They said no.
They said no. They said, no, we don't need the National Guard. Mark Meadows talked about this over the weekend and said, President Trump said, let me bring in 10,000 National Guards. They rebuked it every time he brought it up.
Of course they didn't want him to bring, because then they couldn't play the victim and they couldn't instigate what happened January 6th.
Is a good word. I think a lot of this is is exactly that.
Why? I mean, they set it up, and then all of a sudden, then they retroactively want all 25,000 troops instead.
So
for the inauguration, which nothing happened.
So we could have had the troops there, Will.
Well,
we could have had them there. We could have had the troops. We could have had them there. The president said, "I'll send 10,000 troops. I'll bring the 10,000 troops." But no way, not going to happen. All right, so, we know what's going on with the impeachment. The evidence is mounting that this was a pre-planned event, and it is eroding the allegations that these people were incited because of the speech the president gave. But let's talk about inciting violence just for a moment, and I've played some of these clips before, but I want to reinforce the violence that the Democrats have talked about. Tape number 1.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
Oh, you want uprisings?
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick them.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president? they're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
So all of that is okay. All of that is okay.
Of course, because the left said it.
And Maxine Waters, number one, she said she was going to go and take Donald Trump out. What a bunch of... This is not a two-way street? This is not a two-way street? I thought violence in the street was good.
No, it's the Democrats' playbook.
So
it's good for thee, but not for me.
Oh, okay. So tape number 2. Here we go, Maxine.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Oh. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd, and you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Here's the deal. If it's good for them, it should be good for the Republicans. The problem is, and I'll say it again, I'm a registered Republican. Some of our leaders are weak. Some of our leaders just bend.
Extremely.
Just bend.
Well, so many of them are a part of the swamp, or part of the problem.
That's the problem.
They're taking kickbacks. They're in the pocket of all of these, lobbyists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or lobbyists are in their pockets.
It's all about the money. It's all about the money. Over the weekend, I didn't watch the Super Bowl, but I went back and found the tape because people were saying that Biden got booed. Before we play this tape, I want you to really look at this. You know who spoke most of the time? Joe Biden.
Of course.
Joe Biden. Joe was over there. I swear to God, he has problems keeping his eyes open. He's got, I don't know what it is, but he's having problems staying awake. But they got booed as they did their traditional speech that is recorded earlier, and they play it back during the Super Bowl. Here you go.
Lady of the United States. Super Bowl Sunday.
Before kickoff, we wanted to thank all the frontline healthcare heroes, both at the game and watching across the country. You put yourself at risk to keep the rest.
So basically, she did the speech because evidently Joe can't. But I don't know if you could hear it. There was booing in the background.
They immediately silenced it.
Yeah, they were like, "Boo!
Kill it!
We got to kill this thing." But yeah, so he was talking about coronavirus. By the way, coronavirus numbers are down. I think that's all tied to who is president of the United States. All right, Liz Cheney, bless her heart. That's the way I'd like to say. That's a nice way.
That was too nice for me.
But I'm from the South, so that's our way of saying go screw yourself.
Yeah,
that's a nice way of saying it. But Liz Cheney went back home and to Wyoming, and the people in Wyoming were not very happy with Liz Cheney.
God bless Wyoming.
Yeah, voting for the impeachment. And here's a couple of the people, what they had to say about Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney put her personal family feud with Donald Trump ahead of the Constitution and ahead of the Wyoming people. We must censure Liz Cheney, and I'm going to give you a word picture. She basically middle-fingered the majority of the people of this state.
Let's resist this infusion of left-wing cancel culture, of trying to censure and get rid of anybody that we disagree with.
So Liz Cheney, could she be done? I hope. See, the Cheney family does not like the Trump family. That's part of the problem.
No, there's a difference between cancel culture and not knowing who put you in that office and not serving the people that elected you. So you're a Republican, and I'm sorry, every Republican and every Democrat who says that Trump incited violence
It's a lie.
Is smoking some kind of something.
Go back and watch the speech. It's
because
a lie.
the whole thing, the chain of events, his words, there is nothing about anything he did that is inciting violence.
Yep, I completely agree.
If you want to put this violence on anybody, you got to put it on the left for the fact that they keep silencing the right's voice. If the right doesn't have a voice, guess what? Then we get pissed off.
Now, during the summer, we heard the phrase that these are people are frustrated and let them be in the street and this and that. They're frustrated. Well, the right is now frustrated.
Yeah.
The right is very frustrated.
What happened to let them be in the street? Now, I still maintain that going and breaking into the Capitol was too far. They shouldn't have done that.
I agree.
And they definitely shouldn't have gone to the point that it did where Capitol police officers were assaulted.
Yep.
Or that anybody was shot.
I agree. Now, would you call Time Magazine a conservative magazine?
No.
No. Time Magazine is a very liberal rag, and they came out this past week with it was actually on the cover of Time Magazine, The Secret History of the Shadow Campaign That Saved the 2020 Election, and they should have put from Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what they mean.
From Donald Trump.
Oh, and they lined it out pretty clearly.
They did.
In fact, they admitted that the left rigged the election, that the left, not just the left, they even called it a cabal.
Yeah.
A cabal of big business, and politicians,
and tech companies, and the media all came together and decided that they were going to censor the right and shut up Donald Trump.
They got armies of poll workers.
Yep.
I mean, we can't make this stuff up. This is all in the article. Go look it up.
I would never encourage you to go buy Time Magazine.
No, just go to the website.
Just go to the website and download it. But they called it the secret history of the shadow campaign that saved the election. It's in Time Magazine. They talked about CEOs coming together, and they beat Donald Trump and changed how elections are won.
They admitted that they had a plan in October to change election laws, that they used COVID to their benefit, that they did mail-in voting, that they admitted that they changed election laws to make mail-in voting easier to be swayed.
They also changed election laws in some states without legislators voting on that.
Which is unconstitutional. Which is what should have been the gist of Trump lawyers.
I agree.
And if they had just gone with that on the merits alone, there were judges that said it was legit and it had merit.
Now here's the deal. Trump's team won 2/3 of all court cases about the election on merit. And
they got thrown out on technicalities.
Yeah, on technicalities. Supreme Court is going to consider the 2020 election coming up as the challenge lawsuits are finally going to be heard in conference. I think the date is going to be February 19th that they are going to be heard. And two-thirds of all cases were won on merit, but the Supreme Court said on Friday they are scheduled to hear the several high-profile contesting of the election. So this is the time that people like, what's her name, Jenna Powell, come out, and their case is going to be heard, and Lynn Woods' case is going to be heard.
Well, that's fantastic, but what the hell good does it do us now?
It's pretty much a waste of time.
We're stuck with Biden. So we get to know, okay, the only thing I can say is, okay, so if they determine that in a court of law that all this wrongdoing was done, can we at least get the laws changed back?
I would hope so. I would hope that each individual state, if you're a legislator in these states, go back and change the laws.
I'm sorry, but even Democrats should want, and I know they're not above me, because why would you want no voter ID? Why would you want no ID for voters?
Oh, it's discriminatory.
It's not discriminatory. What's discriminatory about it?
Well, if everybody has to show the ID, then there's poor people that can't afford the ID.
So give them a free ID.
Well, and that's what Texas did, and it was still deemed that it was discriminatory.
I'm sorry. It's ridiculous.
Everybody got a free ID.
We need a way to verify that the people who actually vote are eligible to vote. Period. It's not rocket science.
It is the most sacred thing we do in America, and we've just there's no other word, and I apologize.
Can the Democrats not win an election the fair way? I mean, because that's all they're doing. They're changing these election laws so that they can stack the deck in their favor. And I'm sorry, and if Republicans do the same thing, I'll call them out. Any Republican that cheats, to hell with you. Get the hell out of here.
Call them out. It is the most sacred thing we do, and we've pissed that right away.
Yeah.
We have. Super Bowl. Did you watch it, Will?
No.
This is I think I've counted the 11th Super Bowl I haven't watched, even before Kaepernick. And you know what? Even if I was going to watch it, and on Friday before the Super Bowl, the commissioner came out and said that we need to give more honor to Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, hell no.
So Super Bowl ratings are the lowest in 50 years.
Wow.
They ended up with 98 million people watching.
Any surprise that Coke and Pepsi and Budweiser pulled their ads?
They all pulled their. I think Doritos wasn't on this year, but the lowest rated and more than 50 years. Only 98 million people watched it. In 2016, 111 million people watched it. 2015, 114,000. 2014, 111. 2013, 2008. So that's considerably
by 10 million
chunk.
Or more.
That is a huge chunk of people not watching the Super Bowl.
If anybody else lost 10 million numbers, they would, be out of a job.
And viewership is down 29% across the season. Revenue is down. There weren't butts in the seats. NFL's in big, big trouble. Is anybody listening yet? Not yet? Okay.
No, Roger Goodell's going to keep on doing the same crap he's doing.
We'll just keep not watching.
Let's give Colin Kaepernick some more plugs and see if maybe we can increase our ratings.
Colin, what a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
What a great guy. Thank you. Joe Biden, it looks like, everybody around him is going to make their fair share of money.
Of course they are.
Hunter Biden, we know his sister's made money off of him. We know his brother has made money off of him. Now it's time for the son-in-law. The son-in-law needs to make some cash. There you go. I know it's not real technical the way I highlighted and circled the guy, but the guy right there is the son-in-law. And ethics experts are now raising eyebrows concerning the son-in-law of Joe Biden. His name is Howard Crean, and has ties to a healthcare company that is now working with the government to streamline the vaccine distribution. And asked about it, Peter Ducey of Fox News asked about the red flags were raised, and of course the press secretary, I'll have to circle back.
Lost her mind?
Yeah, has said the president has made it clear there will be absolutely a wall between him and any businesses connected to his family. By the way, this guy married to Joe Biden's daughter, Ashley, and was an early investor in Startup Health. In December, it looks like Yosi Health reached out to Startup Health to help due to the company's special government connection.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
special government connection.
I wonder what that means.
By the way, they asked about it, and they said, oh, no, nobody from the family is connected with this, even though the son-in-law is connected, and it even goes government connected.
I wonder where that came. Oh, people are so dumb.
People are just stupid. Americans, you are dumb. You are so dumb. Seriously, stupid. It's right there in front of you. And you. By the way, speaking of the Bidens, the Justice Department fired all of the Trump attorneys, that were working for the Justice Department.
Except one.
The guy that's investigating Hunter Biden. That's it. All right, Texas judge blocks Biden's deportation freeze for 2 more weeks. Federal judge in Texas extended the suspension of Joe Biden's 100-day moratorium on deportations until February 23rd. U.S. District Judge Drew Tipton in the Southern District of Texas ruled that the federal government cannot make immigration enforcement changes without consulting Texas. And here's the caveat to this. Who's paying for this? So you released all these people onto the streets. They're going to need medical care. They're going to need this and that.
They become a burden on the state.
They're going to become a burden on the state. And states like New Mexico, where we live, should really be worried about it because we're broke as a joke.
Oh, no lie.
But no.
And getting worse all the time thanks to Biden's,
with the oil and gas.
War on oil and gas.
Yeah. So in his order, he noted the Biden administration had argued the 100-day pause on removal was needed to allow the White House to take into account the consideration on immigration and foreign policy and humanitarian needs. That is such a bunch of BS. You had a long time to plan this thing out before you actually got in office. You should have a damn plan in place. And so they put it on a pause for 2 weeks. We'll see where it goes after that. But, each one of these states is going to have to pony up money. It's not fair to the taxpayers. If the federal government believes that's a good thing to do, the federal government ought to be paying for this.
Amen.
Well, at the same time, that's our money too.
But I mean, the federal government should be out of money. How much more in debt are we going to be?
So, just like me not getting my stimulus money, and in the beginning I said I don't need the damn money.
No,
I don't need the money. I don't. I really don't need the money. But as I see all the foreign countries we're giving money to, $4 billion to Mexico, $4 billion to Central America, $4 million to El Salvador, $4 million. I mean, it makes me sick. So, yeah, give me my damn money. If you're going to waste our tax dollars, give me my damn money.
Ridiculous.
Call me petty. Call me whatever you want, but give me my damn check for $1,400. I've already spent half of mine. And believe me, the wife has already spent hers. You can count on that.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Hit the notification button and tell your friends about Two Bald Guys on the Right. We would greatly appreciate it. We are this close from being monetized. So if you can share the videos and subscribe to the channel, hey, do us a favor. If you're on other social medias, post it up on there too and encourage your friends to please subscribe to the channel.
We would appreciate that very much.
We would greatly appreciate it. So you guys have a great rest of the week. I guess we'll be back on Thursday. I'm sure by then we'll have some explosions going on in the impeachment trial. I would think that this trial will not last longer than 2 weeks. I mean, look in the House when they actually...
they're going to drag it out as long as they can, I guarantee it.
They impeached him. That was a 2-day deal. Nobody came forward. No, they didn't have a witness list, nothing. They just
because it was a done deal because you already knew they were going to fast track the impeachment.
Well, they were trying to do that before he left office. So now, how do you remove somebody that's already out of office?
It's ridiculous and a complete waste of money.
Crazy waste. I bet this thing's going to cost us upwards of $10 million. By the way, give me my $1,400 if you got this money to waste. I'm just saying, I want my damn money. I want my money.
Don't forget, we're streaming live on all your podcast platforms, Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you find a podcast, you'll find us for free. As they're in addition to YouTube, we appreciate it. And please, if you would, hit the subscription button whenever you can. And we'll talk to you guys again on Thursday.